All right, so the first part of this story, I did tell you how I got into debt, how I got out of it. And then this time around, I do want to share about my mindset, the shifting of the mindset, because that will prevent me from getting into debt again with the way I think about things. I want to share about a funny moment where there was a line of shoes from Adidas. Is it Adidas or Adidas? Whichever one. I think it was Pharrell's line, and I forgot the name of that line, but what I did was I was so obsessed in getting that line. I was one of those who watched the website when it was ready to be purchased, and when it wasn't there, like the size or the color that I liked, I went to a mall an hour away just to get a pair. Well, I think I got 3 pairs. Red, yellow, and blue. And it was like a high, you know, like that, man, I got the shoes. But then I loved the shoes so much that I ended up not wearing them. You know how that thing when you like something so much you don't want it to be damaged, that instead of using it for its use, you just look at them. In fact, I ended up giving these shoes away. So I feel like it's the rush of purchasing. And I changed that. Now the way I think is anything that makes me happy should not require any type of purchase. Whether that's a trip, Mel knows this very well. She always tells me like, but you liked our Paris trip, but you like our DR trip. It's true, I like those trips, of course, and I do it for other things, but I'm not like needing it. So I am okay, and that's why New York is such a beautiful place, because this is a place where people vacation.
Come to. Is that a vacation too? This is come to vacation. Yeah, good.
Sabot mo to, guys. This is a place where people come to vacation. Yeah? Is that correct? Is that okay? Yeah, so if I feel like I wanted to go on vacation, I'll just go to Central Park, which is free. It's not entirely free, right? Because of the taxes that we pay here, but I don't have the need to go fly anywhere. I mean, I still do, you know, go on trips because of Mel.
He wants to go back to Paris because he wants to buy food, lots of snacks, and eat.
Yeah, but the key word is you said want. I don't need it. That's a thing. Before I used to, before I would go on trips, I would buy things. Yep. And the second piece is mindset shift is, well, we can afford things, right? If you think you can afford something, okay. But if you keep on thinking of that every single time, there will come a time that you won't be able to afford it. And that's for multiple reasons. And if we're unaware of where our money goes and if the purchase is still necessary, then that will be a big problem in the future. So let's recap so far: not needing anything, not using purchase as a means to get that high. And the third thing is the idea that you can afford and therefore it's okay to buy. So we've changed our mindsets. And the second piece is habits. How do we actually execute that? Walk or talk. These things, by the way, are done simultaneously. It's not like I did 1 and then 2. No, it was simultaneous because I was really serious in getting out of debt. One thing that I did was automatic transfers to investment accounts. That way, whatever I see in my bank is already net of deductions from payment of debt and net of any investments that I've made, and therefore this is the only money that I'm gonna spend. The auto transfers also separates the money, whether it goes to my checking account or savings account. So if it's a checking account, that's meaning that's the budget, that's an account that I can use to spend whatever, but then the savings account is also automatically transferred out. That way I know that regularly there's a savings that goes in, there's money going into my savings account. Automating everything, not having to think about so much. And if you're like me, so I'm gonna give you a background, a habit of mine and my roots. It's almost as if we're afraid to have money. And I'm not being funny, because the moment I noticed this, my mom and dad, hi mom and dad, I noticed this, that the moment we have money in our banks, we either tend to spend it as quickly as possible or give it away as quickly as possible, so then it becomes 0 or negative. I know. Yeah, and I don't have good influences in money management as well. I had to to really do this myself, get serious about it, and of course with the help of Mel. But if you don't have any guidance into making sure you're taking care of your money right, then it's such a big mental shift, and your habits on a day-to-day basis also changes. So we talked about automatic transfers. That's the actionable piece. The second piece is, I mentioned it on the first vlog, is that if at the time when I opened a credit card, I significantly decreased the credit balance. So instead of $20,000, I limited it to $2,000. We're almost done with this papaya. And the third piece is, I'm actually a scaredy cat. I am a risk averse, and that's because that's how I was taught. Don't rock the boat, things like that. But at some point, I really felt the need that I had to learn stock investing, thinking that it's a need. So our retirement, actually, some of it is in stocks. We just don't know it. If you're not familiar with the retirement, how it's being structured, it's in the market. It's in different securities, different types of investments. But some of it is in stocks. So might as well learn about it. So I lost some, won some, but only in small amounts until I got comfortable with it, because in one way or another, that's just a way. If you want passive nature of growing money, that is one of them, although it's high risk if you don't know what you're doing. So that is what I did. I learned as much as I can with stocks, understand the market, behavior. I'm not an expert of it, otherwise I won't be doing this YouTube channel. I'll be filthy rich, but at least I understand that information. I don't rely on one person to make that decision for me. And then when it comes to this, like things that bring us like elation, vacations, I no longer do them in such a way that I do it last minute. So the moment we come back from vacation, we're already booking our next one. That way we're not in a hurry. The flights are, and we try to go on times that are non-peak. That way it's not so expensive. I want to end this portion. Well, I'm trying to end this portion. I'm just still cutting this papaya. But I want to end this portion where, as Filipinos, most of us are breadwinners. Being financially independent and getting out of debt is really includes family management, meaning managing their expectations. At what point are you responsible for everything? For some of it, are you responsible for crisis occurrences or monthly things? If you're responsible for A, who is then responsible for B, C, D, things like that. It's such an uncomfortable conversation, trust me. But if you're like, for me, I was so serious about getting out of debt that it was such a necessary conversation for me with my family. And that also requires a mindset shift where I was willing to be viewed as I've changed or I'm not who I used to be. It takes a clear understanding of what you're trying to do. That way, any judgments your family might have on you, that you can accept it. And we do have that reflex people pleasing. Like for me, I used to be such a people pleaser where I would try to help people not feel negative about things, and therefore I would compromise myself just for them to feel better. But that's just not sustainable. That is really part of improving wealth. And I'm not saying, don't help your family in the Philippines. In fact, I still help them to this day, but I am more prepared, and everyone is accountable. Like everyone now contributes to that. No one is exempted, and that is clear. We also have an emergency fund. That way, if there's an emergency, we're not like scrambling who covers for what. It's always gonna be there. Yeah, and that's a completely, that'll be another vlog. I think I cut this papaya wrong. Yeah, I cut this papaya wrong. Forgive me. I have like a trauma about knives because I cut myself this way by accident cutting roasted pig, lechon. And so I have a weird way of cutting things where I make sure that the edge is not like facing my hand. Anyway, that's how I'm gonna end this vlog. Yeah. See you on the next one. So can you really make money off of social media? Shake. Really help me get out of debt. You can't do it alone. A team is needed.